Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a real masterpiece of a manga made by Takehiko Ino. Now everyone knows about Vagabond. Vagabond is arguably one of the most famous mangas ever, and rightly so. It's I made a video about it a while ago and I said it's a flawless manga. And then everyone knows about Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk I think literally revolutionized basketball in Japan, which is crazy to think about. So I've personally not read Slam Dunk, but it's also considered one of the greatest mangas ever. I'm here to talk about Real. Now, Real is about wheelchair basketball, and that in itself is very unique because me as a person who I luckily I've never been in the situation where I'm disabled, I don't know what the future holds, but there are very much people who have to use a wheelchair to get around. And wheelchair basketball was something which never crossed my mind. Like, that's not something you just think of on the regular. And so immediately you have a theme for a manga which is so distinctly unique, and it's putting light on something which normal people just don't think about, which regular people don't think about. And that's crazy. So that's also like immediately like, okay, interesting. But this is where Real gets you. It's not about wheelchair basketball. It's about the human storytelling in the manga. It's not about the matches. See, I think that's the thing. What I'm assuming is that Slam Dunk is a mixture of, the thrill of the sport, the matches, the personal human connection. Real is not at all about that. I mean, I guess Real is like Slam Dunk. Again, I think it's a bad reference because I've never read it. But Real is so deeply written. I think the characters of Real are some of the best characters I've ever written. I think the character arcs they go through are some of the best they go through. I think Nomiya is an incredible. I think all the characters like Nomiya, Togawa, Takahashi. I think Takahashi's character arc is one of the best I've ever read. I kid you not. There's a certain point in the manga where Takahashi's character arc kind of goes on and it reaches this climax or like this nirvana phase, or I don't know how to explain it, but I was relating to it. There's a point where I was reading Real and it was feeling like therapy because it was healing things in me which I didn't know needed to be healed. It's incredible, and when fiction is able to impact you like that, you know you're doing something right. I think it's one of the best mangas I've ever read. I think character progression is great. The art, I mean, of course, as expected from who made Vagabond, the art is stunning. The expressions, the body language, everything is so beautifully portrayed. And honestly, that's the thing. Again, what did I say at the start? You think of wheelchair basketball, you think of, oh, it's gonna show how. Here's the thing, when you go with manga, you think like, oh, someone's disabled, but they're gonna overcome all odds and they're gonna, get to the top because that's how it is, that's how the manga is. It's not. It doesn't use disability as a plot device. It doesn't use it as a way where you feel bad for the characters. It real is very real in the sense it shows what it is. It shows life how it is for people who were unfortunate enough to end up like this. It's raw. It's respectful. It shows what their lives are like. It shows how lives can change when you weren't like that. And here's the thing, it explores so many themes. It's not about oh them being strong. It's so many. Nome, and that's another genius about Real. One of our main characters, Nomiya, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's not disabled. He has a whole and that's the thing. It's not a group of disabled people trying to play basketball. It's not one of those we will show everyone that despite our problems we are on top. It is all about human beings. One of our main characters not even in a wheelchair, and you still love him because there's so much happening with him. One of our characters has been in a wheelchair for a while and he is going through a completely different thing. One of our characters just gets into a wheelchair while the manga starts. It's three different perspectives. It's three different ways to tackle this topic, and they do it so beautifully. I think Mr. Takehiko is genuinely one of the best to ever do it. And it's so good. There's so many themes which just stick with you. You have to understand, I love mangas where they're entertaining, where they're fun, where the art looks good, you know. But the ones which hit you on a personal level are the ones which I really hold near and dear. And this is one of them. Now, if I had to give it a rating, I'm not saying it's flawless. I'm not saying it's on the level of Vagabond or Oyasumi Punpun or Blue Period. I think those are flawless mangas. I do think it's a 9 out of 10. Now, why is it a 9 out of 10? The only thing is it starts off slow. And I would say that's not even a bad thing, because the it starting off slow is what gets you so invested later on. But as someone who's reading it and you're not invested, if for any reason, I can see why that's a problem. I remember not being invested when I started off, but I stuck to it and I kept reading it and I got super invested. But I will say it does start off slow, and honestly, that can be a problem for me sometimes, which is the only reason I don't think it's flawless. And it's not over yet, so you don't know. Maybe it will end up being flawless, but that's for the future to hold. But yeah, as of now, I think Real is one of the greatest mangas I've ever read. I think it means a lot to me, to the point where I almost hesitate to talk about it with people, because it just means so much to me on a personal level that it feels weird just recommending it to people. It almost feels like, I don't want to understand if they don't like it. I don't want them to tell me that they didn't find it that good, because I almost feel offended because it resonated with me on such a deep level. But yeah, I think Real is incredible. I think, honestly, despite me saying that, I'm making a video on it for the internet to see, but I really think you should read it. You should give it a chance, and you'll be rewarded with one of the most deeply human stories you've ever read. But anyway, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.